A corrupt tree bears no fruit. We're in the biblical lectures of Jordan Peterson again. This is Walking with God, Noah in the Flood. We're at 1 hour, 24 minutes, 34 seconds. And Jordan Peterson starts talking about, trees and fruit, and good trees and good fruit, evil trees, evil fruit. And what I am going to do by the end of this video is help you understand how these trees and their fruit are likened to our mindset and our situations in life. I'm Coach Colin, coolest high performance coach in the world. And if you want the absolute best insights to the podcast and videos you love, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it.
Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Well, that's particularly good advice for today's political situation, I can tell you. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. Well, that's what I learned from studying the history of totalitarianism in the 20th century. Is that a corrupt tree brings forth evil fruit. And that's for sure. And it's so funny, people who think, when they're thinking about their relationship with divinity or their relationship with God, they think it's a primitive and childish way of thinking. What if a miracle just manifests? Why can't a miracle just manifest itself? And I would be convinced. And the funny thing is first of all, actually you wouldn't be. If a miracle actually happened, you would actually forget about it in about 6 months. You'd think that's not true, but it's true. You would actually forget about it because that's what people are like. But there are negative miracles that are happening all the time, which actually lends some credence to my supposition, and we don't pay any attention to that. If we can't learn from what happened in the 20th century, then we are absolutely incapable of learning. Because what happened in the 20th century was as bitter a set of lessons as you could possibly imagine. And it's associated precisely with this. A corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit. Neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Well, that's a flood motif right there. It's like we're constantly the archetype of the tree. That's the archetype of being. It's the archetype of the self often. What's the warning here? It's that if you're mostly dead wood, you're going to burn up. And you can think about that metaphysically. You can project that into eternity, and you can think about that as a form of hell. And the funny thing is that when that's happening to you in real time, it is like an eternity in hell. It's a perfectly reasonable way of thinking about it. But you can strip the metaphysical elements off, and you can say, well, if you're mostly dead wood, then a spark will light you on fire. And that's also very much worth thinking about.
I love that. Love that. Let me put it to just so he's there. But the trees and the fruit, I actually do liken that to mindsets. When I first heard this, right away it clicked in terms of your mindset, right? If you think of, yourself, your mind as a tree, more so your mind, right? Your mind, if it's in good standing, if it's in positive, let's just say a positive mindset, it always bears good fruit. You're always seeing the best in things. You're always seeing the best in situations, right? You're never getting too angry. I shouldn't say never getting too angry, but you're less likely to have an angered mindset. You're less likely to flip out in a situation because every situation that comes, you're already seeing the good that can come of it. And if you're really good at it, you can even see it in the bad things that happen to you. I know some people that are really good at it and bad things will happen and they'll be like, you know why this is a blessing? And I'm blown away when that happens. And again, corrupt tree, evil fruit. Like, have you ever seen somebody who's always in a negative mind state? They're always talking about, they're always looking at things negatively. They're always very cynical. And then what ends up happening in their life, you see time after time, bad thing after bad thing. Well, I always, how winter is, you slip and you fall, and that's just how it is. And then you can't go to work. And then all of a sudden it's like weeks later, it's like they slipped, they fell, they broke something, they fractured something. Now they can't go to work, and they're just like, well, you see, it's like what you focus on, you get more of. That's why a good tree will get good fruit, because as a good tree focuses and grows, the fruit that comes will be good, will be positive, let's say, in terms of mindsets. In terms of a negative mindset, if you're sitting there and you're thinking about negativity, you're seeing the most negative parts of every situation, the most negative parts of people. When you bear fruit, it's going to be fruit of negativity, bad situations, bad happenings, things of that nature. And then when he says the part that the tree, the corrupt tree, or the one that's like dead wood will get cast into the flame, it's like that's what has to happen. As you have a negative mindset long enough, you start, and in pursuit of a more positive mind state, as in pursuit of a more positive life, you have to cast away those negative trees and that negative fruit that you've held onto for so long. You have to cast them into the fire. There are parts of you that have to get burned away. They have to be shed away. Like, I love the fact that he used the term like dead wood, like dead flimsy wood. It's like as if your skin is like bark, and you have to just take all of that dead wood off, all of that negative, evil, corrupt fruit off of your body, whether it's in the form of sin or you're just like a straight up negative person and you're trying to just change that over. Whether you're religious and you're repenting, or you're just a guy who just wants to be better. It's like that part of you, that negative part of you, has to be shed away, has to be cast into the fire. It has to be sacrificed in order for you to become something better, in order for you to have that become that good tree that bears good fruit. That was just what came to mind with me when I was reading this, or when I was listening to this. Again, learning so much from this. It's an absolute great lecture, and I can't wait to listen to more of them. Again, the link's in the description. This was at 1 hour, 24 minutes, 40 seconds, and it ends at 1 hour, 27 minutes, 17 seconds. I'm out.